Hello, I'm John Joe. Welcome to Line War. Today we have a bit of a different map. You see, we've got 2v2v2v2. We have Team Alpha, or Alpha Team, up in the north, working together over there. Down here we have me and Demos, who is a Bravo team. I forgot how to pronounce his name for a second then. I nearly said someone else's name. Charlie team is here and here. And we have Delta's team, who are a bit more separated, but they do have a lot of land potential over on this direction. So we're going to turn Fog of War off so we can see everyone. So we can see the team there, the team here. And I got to be honest, I did not want this position. I knew that if we just look at the map, we are in the center of everything. For anyone to attack another team, they have to come through us. And I could see that at the beginning of the game. But I think Demos really had his heart set on this city here. He's got a keen interest in the city life in the mountains. But I kind of wanted to start up here. I did try and take the land, but Alpha Team obviously tried as well, so it ended up blacklisted. Otherwise, I probably would have just ditched Demos and just started up here anyway. However, I decided I got this area. I can get these energy wells, and I can just push towards Rover over here. I'm trying to keep an eye on the names. So I've got Rover from Delta Team. And if I can kill one person on this side, it will make the rest of the battle a lot easier. I could see that Demos was dealing with Charlie team down here. And he has his ally on this side. I'll turn the commands on. There we go. We can see everyone's commands. So I just wanted to, you know, quickly snipe someone so that I could get onto the other side. We'll have to see how that goes, because Baler over here, who does that epic thing with the Discord, where he makes the really short videos based on replays, which is absolutely awesome. I have no idea how he's done it, but it would be quite cool to show at some point. However, yep, in this battle he is pushing down here. He's got Yosef as his ally going across this way. They also have quite a lot of land to grab. So, I have my first few tanks coming out right now, and my second energy well being constructed right now. There's also MidnightSlayer over here, who is just expanding towards here, going for the eco structures by the looks of things. Might be wise to just grab this territory here. I noticed there's been missed because of the industry for the city, but I don't think they're worried too much just yet. On the other hand, my tanks are progressing quite fast into Rover's base. He is being supported with air units that are just interceptors right now by MidnightSlayer. And my tanks are going straight for the eco. I was hoping to knock out some eco there. We do have an industry down here that's just been constructed as well. And it looks like Demos tried to help me on the attack here, but they built up some fortifications. Now, unfortunately for me, we have Baler coming in, closing the gap very fast, and I'm still in the process of trying to snipe this guy. But in the mountains, I have spotted it. I might not have done anything about it. I think I got really confused with the things here. I kind of panicked a lot. I knew it'd be close, but I was hoping I'd have a bit more time than this. So, down in this section of the map, Demos has gone onto the defensive. He's been unable to push against this player here. However, they are able to probably defend him against this, I'm sure, because there's only a few artillery. You can push your infantry that way. But they've gone for a lot of barracks at the minute, so they're going to have a lot of infantry to hold the enemy back. Now, Baler also has some tanks here and some artillery, but these mountains are going to make him slower, so that could go my way for a little bit. Our tanks in the middle of the match are pushing through. We've got some there. We've targeted the barracks there, and as soon as that gets destroyed, they will move down this pathway here and try and take on the industry straight away. Rover is desperately trying to get in my way, trying to block my tank's movement, so instead of the industry, I decide to target this structure here. And I'm starting to think, maybe I shouldn't go for the industry or the town. I should have just went for the production structures. Might have actually been able to take him out. However, he is building down here. He's got a big forest here, so he is relatively safe. At this point, though, I do have infantry straying in this way. This is also partly to keep an eye on his progress and slowly disturb him over time. But I do have this little guy. He's my backup, okay? He's going to save me and let me stay in this game for a lot longer, just in case things go south. So I'm building up some tanks. I've got 4 here. He's built up a large or a large enough force to stop my tanks. So I'm trying to find another way to deal with him. Demos, on the other hand, is progressing straight towards Charlie team, and Charlie team has set up defenses against Rover because Charlie came this way, so he keeps these there. Now, I'm just saying, the reason I'm focused on my team right now is because none of the other teams are really fighting. We got a bit from red and green here, which is Alpha team and Charlie team, but honestly, that's it, okay? Right now, the whole focus is pretty much around me and Demos because we started in the middle. Now, my tanks are forced to go back. I cannot deal with Rover anymore. I'm just going to have to push back. We've got Rover's ally coming in to support now, so I'm not going to be able to get through unless I take on another team's, well, not team, but another player's entire army, which I'm going to have to do again just here, which is unfortunate. I do have 7 tanks now, but I do run out of eco. If I just check my eco, we can see that I'm pretty low. I cannot really be spending any more. I don't know why I built another barracks, to be honest. I should have just left it and I keep these guys going. Luckily, Demos is actually moving upwards to try and help me, and has set up defenses against the enemies that he's actually trying to face, which is going to help him stay in for a little longer, but it's just the fact that we're in the center of the map. It's not really the greatest place to be. So I try and take my tanks around, staying away from the mountains, to be honest, because that sucks. Whereas MidnightSlayer is moving some units through this way. He's taking over quite a lot of these important structures. And he has a fairly sizable air force now, but he doesn't have much energy. Let's just have a quick look at them. Yeah, MidnightSlayer, there we go. So their energy is 30, so they've got 1 power plant running their entire air force. So my base is now dominantly under attack. My logic is if I can just do as much damage as possible, maybe his forces will run away and try and chase me. I'm pretty sure it wasn't going to work, but if I can still do as much damage as possible, it gives Demos the best chance of survival. Because I knew I needed to move my base. There's no way I can stay and remain here and be ended up winning in any way, shape or form. So right now, let's have a look at this map. They've got Alpha team spreading out massively. Pink team is a bit slow over here, and Purple team is doing alright spreading out across the map. Our team is just stuck in the middle of every single wall right now. The tanks are climbing over the mountains, going straight for my energy wells, which is unfortunate for me because I need my energy wells to run these tanks. If I go on to team 3, player 3, my tanks are moving forward, and I do try and target their energy wells just in case. And if I can stop their tanks moving and helicopters, then that would be a big win for me right now. Over here, Purple is still moving in along with Black there. But Purple does seem to have slowed it down a little. I'm not really sure why. And did they just destroy a power plant? Someone must have done that with the blue attack there. I did not notice that. Was that me? I can't remember. Either way, 1 power plant goes down, and Purple team decides to take a break for a bit. He's got some units moving in through here and down here, but they just sort of stick for defense and try to support their ally. Down here, Pink is trying to push in any direction to expand. They've got a little force moving in towards Demos over here, into an area that's not quite built their defenses yet. My base is still being absolutely destroyed, and I've ran out of energy, which leaves my tanks up in the north stranded because I have no energy now, and they're still moving. Oh, that's red team. They took out my tanks. I'm yellow. So yeah, my tanks don't move anymore, so I switch into artillery and SAM to try and at least stop the helicopters and potentially defend against the tanks. Demos over here is literally being heavily attacked by green. Purple's moving in through there, and Black is moving in and taking out some of Pink's forces as they move, but that's not intentional. They are going for Demos, you can see, going straight for his town there. Tim Baler really doesn't like me in this game, is directly pushing against me and trying to take out all of my production over there, and he's being very successful at doing that right now. Yosef is on the move and has expanded all the way across here, and now I think Yosef's plan is to eco up, move down through this area, find any resistance and build a defense, and then push when they're ready. Demos did try and go towards blue and take out this energy well, but unfortunately it just didn't quite work out for them. I decide that I'm running too low on eco and I need to build that up. I'm being attacked from both sides by 3 different players. That's purple, black and blue. Demos is under attack quite heavily and is not going to last forever. Not unless I manage to try and save him or he manages to save me. But I just don't see that happening anytime soon. Now we have Yosef's tanks moving down this direction, straight towards these defences, and I don't think they can see that because tanks don't have good vision. So they might struggle climbing over these mountains and actually detecting that there's defence here. But it looks like he's changed his mind, he's going to grab some territory and he's going to try and stop these green guys there from moving any further. And the green's defence here is not going to hold up, he's placing them only in the mountains, which, although yes, that's the best place for them, usually when you're driving tanks down, you don't go through the mountains, so it's not necessarily the best place. Now, I have been destroyed in this area. You might be wondering, how am I still alive? I have no structures left. Well, you remember that guy I left going up here? I survived with 1 structure. That was built just now as I was talking, I think. So, I literally had 1 structure and 1 unit left as blue and black fight over the remains of the land I used to live in. So, we'll have to see if I can come back and save Demos. I'm pretty sure not, to be fair. You can see he's under a lot of pressure right now. But black and blue are fighting it out and all their players are going to, units are going to be black and blue by the end of it. Demos is going for another attack on blue team, trying to snipe that energy well, and we have defenses in the same mountains from either team. But red is definitely dominating the left-hand side of things. Blue is taking it all the way around to the right-hand side, and green seems to have control over the middle section here. Demos is still under a lot of pressure there, and it looks like some damage is being done over here. A tank has gotten in with these SAMs. That is not a good thing for these SAM units. But the tank does go down, shot by the artillery, the SAM and that infantry. We have some interceptors coming over, doing a bit of a scout, I think. And then just getting a good look over Demos's base. Blue team has a group of tanks now moving in over here. We have a potential snipe going on. 2 infantry units still alive at this energy well, shooting it down. 1 man left, and I think he's going to get taken out. There's quite a few tanks here. There's quite a few of them moving away, mind. But we have the helicopters taking him out. He is fine. But that energy well is going to survive, and red team is still slowly moving down over in the north here. And they're coming through the mountains. Because it's artillery though, they're outranging the defense anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. Sticking to the mountains is providing them a bit of stealth. So that is actually being quite helpful for them. So black team and purple team over here are doing pretty good. They're able to grab a lot of the territory, but they have still missed a few. I feel like if purple was better at taking out these areas, I would have had a much more difficult time trying to develop anything up here. And let's have a quick look at the whole map layout so far. We've got purple team here, me up here trying to survive, Demos down here, and pretty much going in favor of Alpha team right now. Maybe Delta team, as Delta team does have a fair amount of aircraft dominating this section, which is unfortunately gonna kill Demos right now. He doesn't have any anti-air, or at least not enough to deal with this. And these units are just gonna blow up these structures as the ground forces get taken out by pink from both directions, and green is still trying to move in through the forest over here, which is awkward because he's actually camouflaged even for me because they're green on green. Either way, black and blue are fighting still in the middle, literally the same scenario as it was earlier. They're kind of in a bit of a stalemate as time goes on, but I do think Baler is winning that. Down here, Yosef is spreading across the map towards green's main location, which they've got quite a few structures here. Red is pushing in through the north as well. I didn't spot this. We've got a group here coming in through alongside the defense here. We've got a group coming in through the back. And these tanks are taking out the defensive units straight through the sides here. Demas is under a lot of pressure. He's got the air above him. He's only got the units that are literally popping out as the attacks are happening. Over here, Purple has changed the direction of his infantry and are going towards the tanks over here to help the artillery. But I don't think that's going to last too much longer. But we do have some aircraft coming in that's going to help with that. So they should be able to hold them off for a little bit longer. But I think the main threat here could be if this player decides to take away this defense and start progressing this way. There isn't really a lot that could stop him. I think this is overly cautious, where they're hiding in the mountains. They got a good defense and they don't really want to move just in case something goes wrong. I think if they were to try and progress, they'd take a lot of land and that'd increase their eco. And well, white does, or black player doesn't have a lot of defense in that area. They don't have a lot of capabilities there. Demas is on one structure now. There is literally his last structure. He is out of the game. Somehow I managed to survive longer than him. But we'll see at what position I can be in at this game. See if I can actually survive anywhere. So, we've got some tanks moving in now. They've changed from the defenses as they pretty much annihilated it all. And they are moving past these structures, taking out one at a time. And at this point, Yosef is not really worried about green at all. They're just expanding still. They are rolling over green's entire base, taking out anything that stands in their way. Mostly because they've been allowed to build up with eco for quite a while. They've already got a city running. I don't think anyone else has a city. If anyone does, it's purple, but he could do. But he just needs to build up here. There we go. Also, we do have my commandos sneaking by very closely to these units here. I think he has spotted me, and that's what this is all about. So I'm going to have to try and fight him now. He spotted me now, so my secret is up. However, purple and black are fighting blue over here, so these bombers are going for the energy well, but unfortunately they can't specifically target it, so it's going to take them a while to take it out. Down here, red is literally steamrolling green and is about to start taking territory away from pink as well, which is the entire team Charlie. There we go, these bombers are doing a lot of damage to this energy well. It might have been quite wise to go for these energy wells, because there's two. If you place the marker here, you could have potentially taken out two at a time. And I believe they've got the range for that. That should be more than enough range for these bombers. On the other hand, we do have a bit of a battle going on here. I'm not sure whose that is. That's Black's player, Rover. And now it seems that Bravo team's out, except for up in the corner, which is me. I am presenting a bit of a threat for MidnightSlayer. Taking out his town over here, which is relatively undefended. There wasn't really much in the way there, but I didn't want to attack it earlier because that would have revealed my position. But I do need some more eco slots, so this area would be a nice little capture for me. But he has spotted me. He's sending some units in that way, so he's going to try and take me out now. We've got some stealth commandos moving here for the black player, who is Rover. And they're going straight for this energy well. I think they will take that out. It's quite heavily damaged as it is, and it won't take them long to get there on haste mode. However, red team is moving in through the left-hand side of the map. And green is heavily presenting a defense there, but unfortunately, they're still building it, so it might take them... I just need knocked over my drink. But it might take them quite a while to be able to build these defenses. I think they're going to get there. I mean, they're pretty much done, actually. It's just their positioning's a bit awkward. So red team is just going to move around them and decide to focus on everything else but that specific location. Which isn't a bad thing to do, but now... he's pushing in straight through the middle. He's going to take out that city, the town. Over in this section of the map, the bombers have come over, but red has sent in some SAM to defend blue's units. And now blue has that energy well up and running once again. Purple is trying to help Black win this fight, and there's a lot of defense in the mountains here, but these bombers are going to go uncontested in this area. There is 3 SAM units, so they will be able to fight back, but I don't think they're going to be able to do much. To be honest, these 2 color schemes are a bit close for me, so I'm not going to be able to tell the difference between the units in this section, apart from when they shoot each other. Like, these bombers are quite easy to tell. The black player has been spotted by green and pink as they move in through this direction. But red player is probably the biggest threat right now as they move in straight through the bottom here, and also moving their forces in from this direction straight across the map over here. Eventually we are going to be having a fight by the looks of it, as both teams absolutely destroy pink, who is in the middle. And I never noticed this, but I actually have territory right in the middle of the map still. I could have placed like an airfield here or something and done some quick strikes. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have. But it is still good because that keeps giving me eco. So thanks guys for not taking that out. So yeah, we do have some units still trying to fight in this area, and they're not winning against red. So they're still trying their best to defend the area. I think they're just sort of being strayed away from this structure being put around all these lines. Red is pushing hard through this section of the map, and they are escalating the size of their force. And I can imagine this is going to be a steamroll event where he's going to just pick up the pace and push on through all the way to this side of the map. And I think it's up to purple and black team to try and do the exact same. And I forgot I'm fighting over here as well. He sends in quite a lot of artillery, not just from this side, but over here as well. And he's got bombers coming in too. But I am building SAM units. I do have some coming out. And I try to rush these artillery as they were out in the open. I got a couple of units straying off this way because of that, so they are blocking reinforcements for me. But I've put my SAM in the forest here, so they are a little bit stouthed. But considering I'm only building infantry right now, I've got a lot to deal with, so I'm just trying to stay alive and hinder purple as much as they possibly can. Black team has literally just spent a small fortune. And I'm just checking his eco. He's got 1,500 left over after spending, what, 1,000 on these structures here? Maybe just less? And I think if Rover had done that earlier, it might have been easier for him to push Baler back. But there we go, we can see we've got these bombers coming out to try and attack these 2 barracks, but I don't think he realizes how much of an infrastructure I have going on in this forest. So we'll just see if he lets me build up or if he doesn't. Over on this side, red team is genuinely steamrolling this area. He's doing it slowly, but that's kind of how a steamroll works. Let's just quickly use this camera mode. As we come across, we can see some units moving through the map. We can see a lot of smoke in the background from all those energy wells. So we've got quite a good section for the fight here. We've got some helicopters in the air trying to take on this frontline force, and we've got a lot of infantry coming in. I mean, purple's army or pink's army has quite a large or substantial amount of forces that's probably able to at least do some damage back. And we have a good amount of fortifications set up from pink in the mountains over there, but we got the commandos trying to sneak around the front of it. Over on this section, we've got anti-air from Yosef helping blues player, which is Baler, push forward against Rover, black player over here, as the helicopter gets absolutely blown up in front of us. And yeah, this is the base of Rover right now that we're looking at as Baler comes in over the mountains there. But it looks like the commandos just took out the energy well in this section, and the helicopters are flying in over just to try and finish them off, and they do go down. So from this section of the game, we've got the bombers coming back home as my force, maybe they're coming back home. I think they're coming to attack me actually. Yep, there's my forces over there, my little rebellion force. As the bombers do, yeah, just try and bomb me, and they do a lot of damage to infantry to be fair. But I'm going for his eco in this section of the map, because I kind of need some sections like this where I can get some extra economy going. He does try and send out an attack force against my base, probably thinking that that barracks was my only one in the town there. But I do manage to stop that attack as well. Anyway, I'm going to come out of this attack view mode, but I did quite enjoy that for a minute. I hope you did too. So over here you can see the attack that's been going on. I'm just sending my forces out to... I don't care about this barracks here, I'm just keeping this alive. But yeah, we now have a navy force coming out over here from MidnightSlayer, which is trying to get at these structures here, I think. And they are just taking over some territory for now. But Yosef is so focused on the battles going on over here. There is the anti-air in the mountains just here, but they're not moving forward with the forces. Right now we do have a few amounts of units trying to take on the army from above. And there actually isn't any anti-air over here. So having a mass swarm of helicopters right now would be quite useful for green. Red player has pretty much taken over this entirety of the edge of the map now. But over here we have the helicopters trying to take on the navy of MidnightSlayer. But because they're missile ships, they do end up chasing them away. I just think Yosef is not willing to commit to the losses he'll take there, but he could definitely take them out, I think. Black player is actually escalating the force size right now, moving towards Baler, as I think if they keep pushing through like this, eventually Baler's going to lose this fight up in the north here. They are continuously building tanks, but as soon as these artillery build up in more than enough numbers, they will end up pushing through quite easily. There we go. Green has lost the game. They've waved the white flag, if you like. And pink is now left to defend this mountain range all by their lonesome. But we'll have a quick look at how the map's looking right now. So, they've changed this to white now instead of purple. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because I'm looking through his view. Yeah. So, we've got red over here, which is Alpha Team. Pink in the middle here. And purple on the right here. And then there's me. I'm growing. I'm getting bigger. I still could win this. As you can see, I'm quite confident in my attack right now. I'm taking on MidnightSlayer's forces, and I'm just plowing through them right now. Bit concerned about the airfield over here, but I don't actually see that yet. Also have a few units moving down here, and I did try and send an attack at some point with commandos, but it doesn't look like I've managed to get there yet. I either haven't done it or I've already lost that fight, so... Either way, Pink's forces are going to struggle right now. We need to fight red right now because he's escalating his numbers so high that he's building up that critical mass of units that are almost impossible to break. So we need to take these defensive lines off, because I can imagine he's got quite a lot of units. Let's have a look at his eco, because he must be suffering. Yeah, he's got 665, which is nice for the production that he's got. However, he's got such a large amount of units, it's costing him a bomb to keep. And I like the way he set up the defense here. Not because it's strategic, but just because it kind of looks cool. But you definitely don't want it poking up like this, I don't think. I mean, maybe you guys can tell me differently. But, you know, you just kind of want a nice curve so that their firing arcs all hit at around the same location. Over here, it does look like black is being successful against blue. Blue is sending in some air forces up towards the north here, and blue forces as well. I noticed that they're having this fight here, so I moved my units across this way so I could focus down south here. I have no idea who's winning this match, by the way, so from my perspective, all I see is this within it. If I take it off, there you go. So this is all I can see. I have no idea what's going on over there. And considering I was the first one pretty much killed by now, I've actually managed to survive past 2 people. Somehow, just with one structure that saved my life there. Over here we have helicopters moving in over this place because it's completely undefended from air units, which over here has some SAM, but this section It's going to take a lot of damages, even from just a few helicopters. We have 5. They're going to destroy quite a few of these artillery. And I've just spotted some commandos going in this section, and they're getting taken out very quickly. It's probably not been noticed by Rover because he's quite focused in the center here right now. They're building up a substantial force, possibly thinking that they have the largest force right now. And are progressing forward. Purple gets fed up with me and decides that I need to be absolutely destroyed and sends everything they've got at me, except for these 2 groups of units and this one here. So they have sent absolutely everything. How much eco have they got? So they've got, this is me, 455, and they have 789, so they're almost double my eco. And not only that, but I've got to worry about blue. I don't have to fight him yet, but I've still got to prepare. So red team is plowing through the enemy over here. And their artillery is trying to shoot back over themselves, and they are doing a fair amount of damage. They are slowly chipping away at red's forces, but unfortunately red just has far too many forces to deal with, especially in these defensive lines. As they come through this way, this unit here in the defensive line has absolutely no defense against them because they're shooting at the side, not the front. And there's the helicopters coming in to finish the job. Taking out a lot of these artillery right now, and they're not going to survive too much longer. Continuing this, if pink doesn't respond, we've got some SAM units here, they could just move that across. Or the helicopters could just attack the town and move in a bit close. There we go. Looks like we're going to get one go down. Yep, there's one down. Is another one going to go down? Unfortunately, the SAM decided to take it upon themselves and up towards the mountains, which means that they're getting shot at by the artillery over there. Black, on the other hand, is making some good progress against blue, but these lines are looking a bit chaotic. I'm just going to turn it off for a sec. It's giving me a headache. There we go. So we have black moving in over this way. We do have quite a good force from both sides right now. But Tim Baler is struggling with their tanks. We just saw some energy issues. Yep, they're out of energy. They have storage for 2, so they've got these 2 here. It looks like this one was destroyed. Let's see if I've survived this attack. I have managed to hold it off for a bit, but there's still quite a substantial force there coming towards me. I have lost the majority of my army defending against that, but I do think I took out quite a few units. Much more worth than it would cost me to build them. Let's put the lines back on. So we've got Yosef, who's bringing his units in right into the back of Pink's base, and I don't think they're going to survive it much longer. Most of their forces were on the other side. They've managed to bring them in through the center of this to try and bring them back over here, but the problem is they've left the black lines on, which means they're going to just prioritize movement instead of attack. As you can see, these units are literally moving into range of the red units here, and they're still trying to build up the defensive lines again, and they're not going to stop to attack until they are physically stopped. They cannot move any further. So red is getting a high kill count right now for absolutely nothing. The orange lines are probably the best in this situation, pretty much in general, unless you know you don't want to move your units ever, like SAM units guarding a city or something. Over here, purple is progressing closer and closer to my base, and I am still trying to hold them back, and I think I'm being successful, but to be honest, I wasn't that hopeful. But I have got some units coming into the side, hoping to try and take out a few with some extra damage from the side. Over here, red has absolutely destroyed Pink's army, and Pink's army still want to stay on the defensive positions over here. As the rest of their forces come down through this side here, it doesn't look like Pink's going to last much longer. The helicopters are finishing the job off at any other units that are in the area there. We have a barracks being set to self-destruct. In fact, I think they're destroying most of their structures now. So why are they doing that? Let's have a look. 5. I think it's a bit to do with their eco, or they're just trying to give up the game. I'm not sure. I don't think they're trying to give up. I think they're just trying to increase their output, so to have more income. Or maybe even to build in a different location. Just try and save themselves for as long as possible. So Red has now actually redirected some forces to help Blue fight off Black. And it is doing pretty well. I mean, they've got a large force here compared to how much Black is sending in. And Black is streaming their units in, whereas Red has a sizable force already there in formation. Over in this direction, somehow, miraculously, I have managed to fend off the enemy. I'm building up my eco once again, and I am pushing down towards the south. Now this would be an absolute epic battle if I somehow lost the first ever fight, nearly died, my ally was the first out, and I still managed to win against teams of 2. That would be epic, wouldn't it? We'll have to see what happens. That doesn't happen. Anyway, I don't want to get your hopes up. So we got these units coming in through the side here. Red is plowing through that. There's only 2 structures left from Pink. There is actually a barracks just here. So Pink is in it for a few more seconds. I think they're just trying to move in and try and take some territory. And just trying to pepper pot across the map over here. There you go. You can see my forces are now moving down towards Purple's land. But Purple is determined to fight me and no one else. So they're building up some forces again to go forward. Instead of helping out Black over here fight against Blue, I think that would have been quite a more interesting idea there, but he decides that I'm the biggest threat on the map. And we have a rocket over here. This is how important it is for him to destroy me when I only have this and probably 400 eco in a game. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, 450 economy right now. I couldn't even pay for a rocket in 1 minute of full eco. So it's safe to say I've distracted this player more than enough. But his bombers are going out there to help these against these artillery. Unfortunately, I just think he needed more, and he needed the energy to do that as well. Over here, Pink is trying to take over this territory here, but unfortunately doesn't manage to do so. Not exactly sure why. But now Red is moving their forces over across this way. I'm going to put it on ×2 for the rest of the match. Partly because I'm... That's not it. Partly because it's just taken some time to go through, and I want to keep this fast-paced and a bit more interesting. So over here we have Purple's forces trying to sneak around there, but I did accidentally catch them off guard. I didn't mean to go that way and take off his units, I was just trying to find a different way in. But as he sees my forces moving this way, he does start to move in once again. And I didn't know you could do this, by the way. You got the bombers going off of the edge of the map and around. They do fly over the Black. That was something new to me. It looks like Pink has lost the game. We can hear them bleeping out. It's almost like they're trying to swear as they lost. There we go. We have some units trying to stray out from the defensive lines. And there we go. So Black has some units in the forest here trying to pace defensive line. These are commandos, I think. Yeah, and they're not going to do much against these artillery. There's quite a few in this section. There's a few cutting in this section over here towards Black's base. And then we've got the frontline force trying to take it on. Anything and everything they can see. Over here, there are the bombers taking me out. I'm just going to put it down a bit of speed. There we go. Because my mouse seems to go crazy when it's on faster speeds. And unfortunately for me, they are actually managing to take me out. And I think that was partly because I missed the rocket, yeah. So he did fire the rocket at me and he destroyed pretty much everything I had there except for these ones. And now he's got free reign over my structures there. So, yeah, that was a bit of a pain in the butt. I also didn't expect the nuke. I thought I was the last player he would use a nuke against unless he was winning the game. So down here we do have a bit of structures there for black, but unfortunately he's losing the fight in the south, and both purple and black know about this. I am able to take out some interceptors as they cut across the land over here. And because I know he's destroying my base here, there's no point in trying to get these units to return. They won't make it in time. Maybe they would, but I don't think they'd survive, and it'd just delay the inevitable over there. So I try and cut across here and see what I can see, and then attack anything of value. Over on this side, blue and red are pushing through, and black on his own, because remember, purple decided to fight me for the entire game. Black has been on his own against Team Alpha, and unfortunately for Delta team, I think that's pretty much what ended up killing them. There was just lack of cooperation, whereas blue and red, they worked together. You got the anti-air from red when they saw that he was being attacked from the air, but needed the force on the ground, so red took over that role for him. And as he slowly built up over this side of the map and ecoed, blue was presenting their presence down in the bottom. But they didn't need to fight, because all three of the teams in the south were fighting in one way or another. Delta team was fighting me, and Charlie team was fighting Demos, so we got killed that way. And Tim Baler decided to come down and have a punch up with me. But yeah. And now unfortunately my last structures are getting taken out, but I do have this town over here, so I'm still surviving, managing to keep up the game. And if I remember correctly, I can't see my lines, so I haven't quite set that part up yet. Over here we got a ton of helicopters moving in, taking out anything that moves in front of this force, which is actually probably not a bad way of doing it, because they can capture the territory as the helicopters take out anything that even remotely approaches living. And now red is just moving up through the center of the map here. And I've got a line command going here all the way down. I'm trying to sneak into this little gap here, but I can't remember. Did I actually manage to survive over here? Oh yeah, I built another commando structure there, barracks. He knows where I am. He's moving this way, but he doesn't know about this structure because he doesn't take my territory. But now he is moving this way as well, and he's going to go straight for the rest of my base over here too, which is problematic for me, but I'm sure we'll be fine. Black player here is literally being swarmed now from every angle. They are right at the bottom here, all the way around to the top, and there is not much purple is even trying to do about this. But red is doing a very good job of cooperating with blue. Black decides to call in the flag as he is literally surrounded by the enemy, all but one direction. And now purple's fighter jets are flying over, getting destroyed. Literally perfect timing. That was in sync, that. And now the forces of blue and red are moving towards MidnightSlayer. So, can I survive longer than MidnightSlayer? Because then I would technically have been in second place of teams, third place in players, considering I was pretty much destroyed early on. I'll take that. I'll accept that as a win. For me, kind of. But Tim Baler and Yosef are absolutely dominating this match. I mean, let's have a quick look at what the forces are looking like right now. So where are we? We are here. So you can see my base over there being absolutely destroyed by a small force from MidnightSlayer. And here is purple's base, and here's what he's facing against. Can you see all of this, all these armies in the background? Let's have a quick flyby. So we've got, this is an army to reckon with. As they move over, the helicopters are flying too. There's just swarms of them. There's just a non-stop production. Let's have a quick look at the eco of Yosef specifically. So here we go. He's got 61 income per minute as like income, not capital. So his capital is actually coming in 2,000 per minute, and after the expenses, that is a total income of 60, well, nearly 50 right now. Let's have a look at Tim Baler. Tim Baler's not doing too bad. He's struggling a bit with keeping up some money, but he is on 700 per minute. Then there's me, who is on 480. And then MidnightSlayer, who has almost nothing now. He's on 500. He's still got more than me. Even though he's being absolutely annihilated, he does have that rocket he could fire. Does he have the ability to? He does. He could still fire this rocket. It wouldn't make a dent in the enemy's army right now, but it would still slow them down a little. And I've got 2 barracks left over, and I decide to build a rocket myself. Just, you know, end the game with a bang, right? But I do have my commandos, because I know that I might end up getting destroyed. I wanted to try and come down here and set up a base down here, which is what I've been trying to do for about 10 minutes. But I just couldn't get past any of the forces coming through. So I just tried to build up a bit more in numbers before I try and progress any further. I, again, didn't really have an idea on how bad the enemy's situation was. So let's have a look at my fog of war. This is all I could see. I knew something bad was happening because they were taking over. I could see them taking over the land. So I couldn't directly see what was happening, so I had no idea how large their force was. There you go, MidnightSlayer has lost, and now I was going to wait for my rocket, but it just takes far too long. So I didn't bother in the end. So this is the end of the match. I do end up giving in the game. So I'm just going to speed across all the way. I was talking to them for a little bit, just, you know, like, thank you for playing. I'm glad it was a good game and all that sort of stuff. And I did say I had a rocket left over. But yeah, so here we're at the end of the game. Here are the stats. Let's have a quick look. So this was 4 different teams. And blue team absolutely dominated the economy from about halfway. And even then it was, which one? Delta team that had equal amounts at this point. But I guess that's when they started dealing with me instead of focusing on their economy and trying to, you know, either focus me out of the game really quickly or just ignore me for a little while because I wasn't really doing much anyway. But yeah, I think this economy was great. Well, this battle was great. Let me know what you think. Do you like these sorts of matches where it's large scale, massive wars? Or do you prefer the 1v1s or 2v2s? Or just more smaller free-for-alls? Let me know what you think, and I will try and accommodate that. So thank you for watching. There are 2 videos on screen right now. Feel free to pick one, and I'll see you there.